Miller still waiting for his first pitch. Roberts is going. Posada's throw. Roberts. Safe.
The stolen base is an exciting part of baseball, and especially late in the game. Before the advent of power hitting at the start of the 1920s, stolen bases occurred much more frequently than they do today. Here you see one of the game's great base stealers, Ty Cobb, sliding into third base in 1910. That year, there were on average 2.6 steals per game. Today, it's about 1 per game. In the early days of professional baseball, a relatively large number of players would routinely steal between 20 and 40 bases per year. But there was one man who outdid them all. Let's talk about Sliding Billy Hamilton, the 19th century's great base stealer. He was born in Newark, New Jersey, grew up in Massachusetts, and eventually played outfield for 3 major league teams between 1888 and 1901. The Kansas City Cowboys, Philadelphia Phillies, and Boston Beaneaters. On the left, you can see he's not wearing a glove. Few did in 1888, and on the right, he's gripping the bat with his hands apart, a common practice during the 19th century. Hamilton is one of Major League Baseball's career leaders in stolen bases and on-base percentage. In 1894, for instance, he got on base 52% of the time and stole 100 bases. Incredibly, he scored 198 times that year. For perspective, the second highest number of runs scored for a single season is Babe Ruth with 177. Unrivaled speed meant Hamilton could beat out bunts and hard-hit ground balls for singles. He also led baseball in walks 5 seasons. He was, in every respect, the archetypical leadoff hitter, someone who got on base and scored. At the same time, baseball was different in the 1880s and 1890s. Hamilton started his career when the pitcher's mound was 55 feet 5 inches from home plate. That favored pitchers. Then, in 1893, the distance was increased to 60 feet 6 inches. That favored hitters. Unsurprisingly, batting averages went up, and Hamilton had his 4 best seasons after the rule change. Another point to make is that the way stolen bases were awarded between 1886 and 1897 differed from our time. Scorekeepers gave players a steal for advancing on an error or beating a ball thrown from the field. So it's impossible to know how many of Billy's 914 lifetime stolen bases were steals as we understand them today. Similarly, we don't know how often he got thrown out because that data was not collected consistently until 1951. Observers, however, agreed that Hamilton was an expert base stealer who rarely got caught and never needed permission from a manager. After retiring from professional baseball, Hamilton and his wife Rebecca settled in Worcester, Massachusetts, where Billy worked as a production foreman at a local leather manufacturing plant. Before his death in 1940, Hamilton witnessed the induction of Ty Cobb and Babe Ruth into the Baseball Hall of Fame, as well as some of Hamilton's contemporaries, such as Cap Anson, John McGraw, and Buck Ewing. It wasn't until 2 decades later, in 1961, that the Veterans Committee inducted Billy Hamilton into the Baseball Hall of Fame. And the oversight probably had to do with a certain bias towards 19th century players. And then there's Billy's personality. He wasn't one to argue with umpires or draw attention to himself. He was more of a quiet performer. But let's keep in mind a few things that put his achievements into perspective. Sliding Billy Hamilton has the 4th highest on-base percentage of all time after Ted Williams, Babe Ruth, and John McGraw. Among base stealers, he's 3rd after Rickey Henderson and Lou Brock. So here's to the art of the stolen base.
Up the middle. Roberts will come to the plate. The throw by Williams. Bill Miller has tied
it. If you like what you saw, you can watch more shorts and lectures on this channel. And thanks for watching.